Okay, what I want us to do right now is talk about dividing. We're going to divide some whole numbers by some fractions, but we're going to actually divide them by some non-unit fractions. And we've been using reciprocals now for several days and talking about them, but I haven't really gone through all of the formal definitions of what reciprocals are. And it's about to get a whole lot more important to talk about what a reciprocal is on this problem. And so, a brief word about reciprocals before we divide. I've not talked about a formal math definition of reciprocals. I'm sorry, my handwriting's bad anyway, but it's just so bad on this thing, and I really messed that up. So, reciprocal spelled Reciprocal. And a real simple definition of reciprocal, like say, let me make it reciprocals, because they come in pairs. It's two numbers with a product. Remember, a product is the answer to a multiplication problem of 1. If you multiply two numbers together and you get 1, they're reciprocals. And so some examples of reciprocals we've already done. We've said that like 4 and 1/4 are reciprocals. Well, how do we know that? Well, 4 times 1/4 is 4/4. Guess what 4/4 is? It's 1. 3 and 1/3 are reciprocals, right? Because it's 3/3, which is 1. 18 and 1/18 are reciprocals because you get 18/18, which is 1. But the question is, what is the reciprocal of a number like 2/3 or 4/7? And that may seem kind of hard to some people when they first see it. Like, what can I multiply times 2/3 to get 1? And people instantly won't starting to say 3. If you do 2/3 times 3, then you get 2, because you get 6/3, which is 2. But it's actually really easy. If you think about it, when I want to do a reciprocal, what I want is the same number in the numerator and denominator. And if I actually take the fraction, I flip it, if I say, well, over here I'll do 2 times 3, and over here I'll do 3 times 2, then that'll give me 1. 6 over 6 is 1. So we recognize that 2/3 and 3/2 are reciprocals. And so what did I do to get that? Well, I really just flipped the fraction, right? If I want to do 4/7, well, if I do 4 times 7 on the top and 7 times 4 on the bottom, then I'll get 28/28, which is also 1. And so 4/7 and 7/4 are reciprocals. And so, of course, the easy way to tell you how to get the reciprocal, I want you to understand first that it is two numbers that when you multiply them, they give you 1. But the easy way to find the reciprocal is you do this. You flip the fraction. And you'll even notice the ones over here on the left. 4 is really 4 over 1. We flip the fraction. 3 is really 3 over 1. 18 is really 18 over 1. When you flip a fraction over, you switch the numerator and denominator, they're always reciprocals. And so that's actually really, really important to understand. So what I want us to do now that we've got that grasp on reciprocals, let's talk about a problem that involves dividing. So we're going to do this. We're going to say, what is 3 divided by 3/4? Okay, so let's think about it this way. We've got 3 pizzas, and I want to give everyone 3/4 of a pizza. How many people can I feed? So the question we're asking, and it's very important to understand these questions, is how many times can I make 3/4 from 3? Now in this problem we could almost count it. We could go ahead and say, well, I could give one person 3/4, and I could give the next person 3/4, right? And then I could give the next person 3/4, and then the last person, the fourth person, would have 3/4, and we'd recognize the answer is 4. But I don't think you want to do that on every problem you run across. And so let's see if what we've applied on earlier problems can work on this problem. And so earlier we've said that we can actually make a statement that says like this: dividing by, and we'll say 3/4 is the same as multiplying, and you recognize this statement very well by now, by, and this is where we should put the reciprocal of 3/4. And what is the reciprocal of 3/4? Well, it's actually, we said you can find the reciprocal by flipping the fraction. It's the same as multiplying by 4/3. And so actually we could do 3 times 4/3 to get our answer. And that gives us, if we don't cross simplify, it gives us 12/3, and 12/3 is 4. It's the same thing we got here at the bottom, that we could feed 4 people. In fact, we could check our answer. 4 times 3/4 is 12/4. 12/4 is 3. And so we know we've got it right. So the question of how many times can we make 3/4 from 3? Well, it's 4 times. And we recognize that by using division. But how do we do division? We multiply times the reciprocal.